Hello to the Ridley community and welcome to the first Headmaster's Headlines for 2018. It is wonderful to be back for the winter term with renewed energy and focus, and we're excited to get back to learning in January and February. I am excited to be joined here today by grade 11 student Destiny Campbell, who is our guest interview for this edition of Headmaster's Headlines. Welcome, Destiny, and thank you very much for joining me, and welcome back to Ridley and Happy New Year.
Thank you for having me in general, and I'm really excited to be here to ask questions on behalf of Ridleyan, so let's get into it.
Great.
So you may have noticed today, although I may not be wearing it, today is Grub Day, and today is the Grub Day for Mental Health Awareness Week. Can you explain to me the importance of these student-led activities and the service component that accompanies these kinds of events?
Right, yes. Now, this week is, as you say, we are recognizing Mental Health Awareness Week, and specifically Bell's Let's Talk campaign. Today, specifically, one of our student-led groups, Jack.org Club, is presenting today at Assembly and helping to raise awareness around mental health for our students. I think what's most important about these types of clubs and activities that I term as sort of social activism is that they are student-led, and they're student-generated, and they're student-initiated. Teachers and faculty and adults are there to help support and provide the resources. But both in the lower school and in the upper school, we're seeing more and more student clubs and student initiatives being created and led by interested and passionate students who have a cause that they want to promote or educate. And so that's what's happening this week, but it happens quite often throughout the school year. I think it's really important. There's learning, and then there's like experiential learning, and I think some of these social activist club type initiatives are really about experiential learning.
Yeah, I think these kinds of things are really important, and I know that Ridley does that to bring people together. And on that note, I know that we introduced our new bleachers into the school on January 12th. So can you share the significance of this new space to Ridley?
Yeah, fantastic. It's not exactly a new space; it's the field house, but there are a new tool, the bleachers, that allow us to gather as an entire school community, junior kindergarten to grade 12, 700 students, faculty and staff, all gathered for a wonderful assembly where we christened the new bleachers, who were brought to us thanks to the generosity of so many donors in our Ridley community who provided gifts that allowed us to make this a reality. And it's been a dream for a while to be able to house the entire school indoors in a venue, and now we have it. And to see the bleachers completely filled in the field house, to see our youngest students, 4-year-olds to our 18-year-olds, all dressed in black and orange and cheering, for Ridley Tigers, it was really wonderful to see, and fairly historic moment as well.
Yeah, I think so. I understand that Ridley is already reaching a record enrollment this year, and I'd love to hear more about this and what it means for current students and families.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that. Enrollment and admissions is such an important part of sort of the business of Ridley. And every year, our amazing admissions team and officers travel all over Canada and all over the world, meeting and interviewing and motivating prospective families, amazing students, to enroll at Ridley and come to Ridley and join our amazing community. The last couple of years, we've had tremendous success with admissions. We keep on breaking records. And at this point, we are also on a record-setting pace for new students. Last week, sooner than ever before in any previous year, we hit the 100 new student mark, which is always exciting in the admissions office. And so this speaks to, in my mind, really increasing a demand for a Ridley education from prospective families, again, all around the world and across Canada. Ridley is obviously something that resonates with people, and a Ridley education is something that they're desiring. And this, is in the face of, across North America, boarding schools are having trouble with admissions. Enrollment is declining, but at Ridley we've been bucking that trend over the last couple of years, so it's pretty exciting. I'm really proud of that. It does mean for new families, when we get into the re-enrollment process, which is going to begin next week, actually, It's really crucial that we hear from families their intent, and I hope the intent is to come back. We want their son or daughter to re-enroll at Ridley, but we need to know sooner than ever. And March 1st now is going to be the deadline for re-enrollment. They are obviously our first priority. We want all of them back, but we also really increasingly we have a lot of students who are waiting to hear whether they can be admitted at Ridley, and March 1st is an important deadline. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions that you might have for me?
I have two questions. One's more fun, one's more just based off of curiosity.
Okay.
So my first question is, tell us a fun fact about yourself.
A fun fact about myself that maybe other people, I don't know if it's fun, but maybe it's a unique fact.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, I like to travel, and one of my most memorable journeys was a 5-day trek into the Mount Everest base camp with 2 yaks carrying my bags. So Mrs. Kidd and I did that. It was really quite a memorable. So that's kind of a fun fact. Nobody knows that.
And based off traveling, do you have any travel plans for this year?
Yes. So again, given that we have a Ridley community all around the world and across Canada, I do a lot of traveling in my job, and we've already been to so many destinations. And over the next couple of months, I'll be heading to the UK, specifically to London and to Bath, and then off to my annual trip to China. We'll be in Hong Kong, we'll be in Shanghai and Beijing, and then the itinerary hasn't been concluded, but probably a city like Nanjing or Hangzhou or Shenzhen. Again, seeing our current parents and prospective parents and past parents and alumni in China. Yeah, so lots of travel still to happen this year.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Destiny. Well done. Great questions.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us for this edition of Headmaster's Headlines. And thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in February for the next edition of Headmaster's Headlines. Thank you.